Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय श्री गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वदान्तिकम्। नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा। So reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 26, and today we'll see Shloka number 9. Tatra nirbhinna gatranam chitravaje shilimukhe viplavo abhut dukkhitanam duhasa karunatmanam. So, word by word, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta from Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tatra, there, Nirbhinna being pierced, Gatra Nam, whose bodies, Chitra Vajay, with variegated feathers, Shili Mukhe, by the arrows, Viplavaha, destruction, Abhut, was done, Dukkitanam, of the most aggrieved, Dussaha, unbearable, Karuna Atmanam, for persons who are very merciful. Translation: when King Purujana Puranjana was hunting in this way, many animals within the forest lost their lives with great pain, being pierced by the sharp arrowheads. Upon seeing this devastating, ghastly activities performed by the king, all the people who were very merciful by nature became very unhappy. Such merciful persons could not tolerate seeing all these killings. Purport: when demonic persons engage in animal killing, the demigods or the devotees of the Lord are very much afflicted by this killing. Demonic civilization in this modern age maintain various types of slaughterhouses all over the world. Rascal swamis and yogis encourage foolish persons to go on eating flesh and killing animals, and at the same time continue their so-called meditation and mystical practices. All these affairs are ghastly, and a compassionate person, namely a devotee of the Lord, becomes very unhappy to see such a sight. The hunting process is also carried on in different way, as we have already explained. Hunting women, drinking different types of liquor, becoming intoxicated, killing animals, and enjoying sex all serve as the basis of modern civilization. Vaishnavas are unhappy to see such a situation in the world, and therefore they are very busy spreading this Krishna conscious movement. The devotees are pained to see the hunting and killing of animals in the forest, the wholesale slaughter of animals in the slaughterhouses, and the exploitation of young girls in brothels that function under different names as clubs and societies. Being very much compassionate upon the killing of the animals in sacrifice, the great sage Narada began his instruction to King Prachina Bharishit. In these instructions, Narad Muni explained that devotees like him are very much afflicted by all the killings that goes on in the human society. not only a saintly person afflicted by the killing of this killing, but even God himself is afflicted, and therefore he comes down in the incarnation of Lord Buddha. Jayadev Goswami therefore sing Sadaya Hridaya Darshita Pashughatam. So simply to stop the killing of animals, Lord Buddha compassionately appeared. Some rascals put forward the theory that an animal has no soul or is something like dead stone. In this way, they rationalize that there is no sin in animal killing. Actually, animals are not dead stone, but the killers of the animals are stone-hearted. Consequently, no reason or philosophy appeals to them. They continue keeping slaughterhouses and killing animals in the forest. The conclusion is that one who does not care for the instructions of saintly person like Narada and his disciplic succession surely falls into the category of Nashta Prajna and thus goes to hell. Hare Krishna. So here, as we see, this is a story. Narad Muni is narrating to King Prachina Bharishit, because King Prachina Bharishit, with desire for some fruity activities, was doing a lot of animal sacrifice in Yajna in the name of what you call dharma. So King, as Prabhupada writes in the purport, that the devotees are very, very compassionate, and out of his compassion, so through a story, this story of Puranjana, Narad Muni is trying to make a point to King Prachina Bharishit that just for to fulfill his material desires, how he is actually giving pain to the lower species of animal. Prabhupada explains that it's the duty of a king to maintain all the living entities in his kingdom. And Prabhupada tells that what is the meaning of praja. So in modern society, we feel among all the species, human beings are the only species that require protection and who need to be maintained. And rest, everybody are meant for their enjoyment or for them to enjoy. So Prabhupada drives this point that praja means every living entity. So human being is also praja, a dog is also praja, a cow is also praja, even an ant is a praja. So praja means it's the duty of the king to maintain the entire living entities. So it is not only human beings who come under the category of praja. So due to lack of this knowledge, so if you see King Parikshit Maharaj, when he was when he was going through his kingdom, when he saw that that cow is being killed, so he immediately protested. So that is actually the duty of a king. The duty of the king is to even maintain every living entity. So even Prabhupada says for a householder, he should see not only his family, but if there is some insects, lizard, they also should not go hungry. So this is actually Vedic civilization. So in your house, if there are some insects, ant, lizards, so as a householder, it is your duty. Prabhupada says that even they should not go hungry. So this is a level of compassion. But due to lack of knowledge and living a very, very modern atheistic life, everybody is busy trying to satisfy his tongue. And due to this unrestricted sense gratification we want to do in the under different theories, we promote this animal killing. So basically this if you see, once upon a few years back, not long time, I think 5-6 years back, there was a big earthquake in Nepal. So it was very, very devastating earthquake, one of the biggest earthquake one has seen in the centuries. So lot of destruction took place, and finally, like on the spiritual logic, it was concluded that just before this earthquake took place, Nepal had been the highest transporting country of cow meat. So it was concluded that when there's so much of animal killing and that too cow, so nature will definitely show its fury. So many atheists won't believe in this theory, but people who have little spiritual understanding, they would agree to it. So it had become such a thing that Nepal was cow meat exporter, highest cow meat exporter. So that then the nature had to show its fury, and that is how this earthquake took place. So even like once when Prabhupada was asked, who's your favorite animal? And Prabhupada said, I think he said, I like horse. And then the journalist was asking, she said, I thought you would say cow. So Prabhupada replied that you asked me animals, so we do not treat cow as our animal. It is our mother. So that is what Prabhupada said. So coming back here to this point, killing of animals, which has become very common in today's world, and just to satisfy our tongue. So it is very, very, just before we started the class, we recited this slok, right? It is Sacha Srijja Kartate Kam Karyata Na Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Paramgati. So people who do not, people who live not following the Shastras, what it is said, Na Siddhim Avapnoti. They will never, achieve any perfection. Na Sukham Na Paramgati. Neither happiness and neither their next life also. Na Paramgati. They will not, their Gati also, their next life also will be very miserable. That's the reason if you see nobody is happy in this world. Anyway, this material world is it's a dukkhalayam, and we are actually increasing our miseries by all such activities. And Prabhupada is touching upon this four regulative principle, which is broken royally. Like Prabhupada writes, people are living their life to royally go to hell. Prabhupada says the way the modern civilization is actually living, like they are royally going to hell. So this meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling, very common it is. WWW, woman, wine, wealth. It's a world of world wide web, we said, no? So actually it is www.com. Woman, wine, okay, wealth. So there's a story like how dharma should be followed. So in Mahabharata, there's a small story which comes. So there were two Brahmanas, okay. So one elder brother and younger brother. So once what happened, the younger brother visited his elder brother's ashram, and when he went there, the elder brother was not there, and he was just taking a round. There was nice garden around and lot of fruits, trees of different fruits. So as he was strolling, and he saw that his brother is not there, and after some time he felt hungry, and he just plucked some fruits of some trees and ate it. And as he was eating, his elder brother comes. And when his elder brother comes, he looks at his brother, he greets him, and he says, well, you're eating the fruits, but did you take any permission to eat the fruit? So he said, well, this is your ashram, this is your garden, you're my elder brother. So I thought I was a little hungry, so I did not think that it is necessary to take permission, and I just plucked the fruit and I ate. So he said, okay, then do one thing. You go to the king of this kingdom and just ask him what should be done to a person who steals from another person's property. So he was surprised. He said, well, this is not stealing, right? He said, okay, you do as I've told you. Just go to the king and ask him this question. What is the punishment that has to be given to a person who steals from another person's property? So he goes to the king as advised by his brother. So the king says, in what context are you asking this? So he tells that I visited my brother's ashram today, my elder brother, Brahmana, and he was not there. And as I was there, I felt little hungry and I plucked some fruits from his garden and I ate it. So the king said, well, it's not such a big offense and it is not a theft. So as a king, I have the power to forgive you. So there's no punishment. But then still he insisted, since my brother has asked, so I request you to please tell me what is the punishment in case it's a theft. So he says, uh, in case it's a punishment, then the punishment is your hands have to be cut off. Since you have stolen without taking permission, and since it's a theft, your hands have to be cut off. So that younger Brahmana said, yes, then please, since my brother considers it as a theft, I request you, he requested the king that please cut off my hands. So the king was very, very shocked. He said, it is not such a big offense that your hands have to be cut off, but he requested, since my brother has asked, and since this is the punishment for a person who steals, please cut. And king was very, very sorry. He was not so much happy to do, but since he was insisted by that younger Brahmana, he cuts the hands. And then he goes back to his brother, the younger, and he says, I asked the king, first he told me that it is not such a big offense, it is actually not a theft. But then, since you were insisting, I asked him, what is the punishment for people for such a theft? He said the hands have to be cut off, and I got it cut, and I got my hands cut. So the Brahmana said, okay, now you do one thing. You go to this river Ganges and just take a bath. Okay, and you come back. So then when he goes to river Ganges, he takes a bath, and to his surprise, when he takes the bath in Ganges, again those hands appear, and he becomes very happy. Wow, I've got my hands back, and comes to his brother, and he says, if you wanted to actually give me, like you actually wanted to give these hands back to me, why did you get it cut off by sending me to the king? Then he explains that actually I wanted to change your mentality, because sometimes we think like such things like when we taking what do you call just plucking something from nowhere which doesn't belong to us, and we think it's casual. So these are the high standards of Vedic civilization. Even when you enter somebody's property without permission, when you take something from there, it is actually a theft. So he says that by my mantras, I have that power. By my mantras, I revived your hands back. But I wanted to change your mentality. I wanted you to know that such small, small things, okay, such small, small things also becomes part of karma. In today's world, where we see a lot of people suffering, right? And we see that they have not done anything bad in this life. But all such things, actually, they get accumulated. And we never know when we have to pay back for this. So in Vedic civilization, it is very, very important that we live our life according to dharma. Otherwise, even such small things can give us very, very strong reactions. That's the reason even when we go to some unknown place, somebody's house, everything, we have to make sure that we just don't like think I can just behave the way I want. That's the reason even my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Guru Maharaj, he says when a few people sit together to have prasad, okay, even and if somebody has finished having his prasad, before getting up, he has to take permission. Prabhuji, Mataji, can I get up? Without saying that, if somebody gets up, is Guru Maharaj was saying that you take the karmas of people sitting next to you. Such a small thing. So this is how the way the entire karma works. So without even taking permission, when you get up, you take along with karma. So very, very, that's the reason Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Gahana Karmano Gati, very, very intricate. It's very intricacy. Cannot understand. So when we come to spiritual life, definitely Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, and Krishna's mercy, we are taken care of. But we have to understand. We have to have knowledge of how this karma works. Similarly, another story. I don't know whether you all know it, but I'll just. Once there was a king who used to feed prasadam to all the people, anybody who would walk into his kingdom during the lunch time. That was his what do you call one of his ritual. So whoever would walk in his kingdom during the lunch time, he would, there was a big pandal and he would serve everybody. It was in an open space. He would serve lunch. One day what happened as he was, and he would personally serve along with him, like it is not buffet system, everybody would be seated, and one of the item king would personally serve. So one day what happened, as he was serving, on top of in the sky, one Garuda was actually carrying a snake, a poisonous snake, which he had killed. And as he was carrying above the sky, a drop of poison from that snake fell in the utensil which king was serving, that prasad he was serving. And it happened so quickly that nobody noticed. Neither the king noticed, neither Garuda, neither the that dead snake, well, he was dead, and people around also did not. Just a drop of that poison fell in that prasad, and it was a very deadly poison. So after that, that drop of poison falling in that utensil which king was serving prasad, people who had prasad after that all died because of that poisonous effect. And king was very, very sad. Like he was very aggrieved. He said, because of my mistake, I don't know what happened. Now he doesn't even know that that poison had fell. So in that, and everybody died, and king was very, very sad. And now Yamraj was wondering now who to give this karma to, because as far as Garuda is concerned, it is his dharma. He is allowed to eat snakes. That snake was dead, so the karma cannot be given to the what you call the Garuda, neither to the snake. King also did not knew, so it cannot be given that that karma of all these people dying. So Yamraj was thinking, who should this karma go to? And it was in balance, because even king was not at fault, because he really did not know. He did not see that the poison had fallen in that prasad. So days went by. Then one day what happened in that kingdom, few visitors came at around lunchtime. And the visitor went and asked the old lady that, can you please guide us to the king's palace? Because I've heard people who come at lunchtime, king feeds them. So the that old lady gives the direction, the entire direction how to go to the palace. And finally she says a small statement. She says, be careful. Okay, this king under the guise of feeding prasadam to the visitor, he actually feeds poisonous food and kills them. This is a statement she makes. And immediately Yamaraj says, all that people who died after due to that poison, all that karma should be given to this lady. Why? Because she made a false statement. She did not actually know what had happened, but what she told the visitors, that this king, under the guise of feeding prasad, feeds poisonous prasad and kills people. Just that one statement, what Yamraj does, all that karma he was wondering who it should be given to, it transferred to this lady. So this is another important thing we should understand. Prajalpa, when we gossip, we don't have facts about anybody, and many a times we just allege, put allegations on even devotees or our neighbors. So what happens, we are unknowingly, we already have so much karma, a baggage of us, which are finding it difficult to, what do you call, that karmic reaction which is coming, we are finding it difficult to tolerate. And unnecessarily, what we are doing, we are taking unwanted karmas more. So when we talk about politicians, when we talk about our neighbors, boss, we make statements, we hardly have facts about anybody. We do not know anything, but we make statements. So unknowingly, when we talk such in such a way, we are actually inviting unwanted karmas in our life. So very, very important. We should understand as devotees, at least now when we have taken to devotional life, every time avarta kalatvam, nama gane sadaruchi, whatever little time we are having, leisure time, we should use it only to chant, read about Krishna, listen to some lectures of our acharyas, instead of just talking here and there. By just doing this, we are just what you call inviting unwanted karmas. So this is what the entire modern civilization is. So sometime even after becoming devotees, it's very hard to give such habits. Now, people who are used to meat eating and all, it is very difficult to just give it up. At least after we coming to devotion, it becomes easy for us because we are in the association of devotees. We are chanting Hare Krishna. So all this entire process slowly helps us to naturally give up. But for the people in general who are not interested in spiritual life, uh, just telling them to give up meat eating, give up all this unwanted, this intoxication, it's not so easy. That's the reason what the Shastras do. The Shastras try to regulate their habits, so that what happens, at least through regulation, they can give up. That's the reason all these sacrifices, yagyas, narabali, even giving this this at the at the for Durga, they give this animal sacrifice. All these things are allowed, but then it is not like a license to eat the what you call. It is not a license for meat eating. It is basically the Shastras do it in such a way that this entire process is very time consuming, very laborious. So what happens is basically a message to you that because you want to eat meat, this is the process. Okay, but the end, what do you call, if you understand what is the end goal, it is a message to them that it is not good. Eating meat is not good, but since you are not able to control, this is the how you have to eat. So tell me something, if somebody is used to eating meat every day, you cannot do this yajna, right? It is very time consuming. You have to have this brahmanas. There are certain days, place. So if a person is intelligent, he will understand all this I'm doing. It's basically better. I do not like. I do not have so much time. I don't have even you don't get such brahmanas nowadays who can perform such yajnas perfectly. So it is better I give up. Okay, just for that few what do you call, just to satisfy the tongue for few minutes or second. Why should I go through all this? And all these animals, like it is Prabhupada says, no, Mamasaha. What actually it means is, you kill me today, in next life I will eat you. Like you have eaten me in this life, next life I will eat you. So basically, it is nothing but an agreement you're making with the to be killed in a next life. That you will also take birth as a birth as animal, and that person who you killed in this life will kill you in next life. So similarly, Prabhupada even writes here about illicit connection. So if you see our Vedic life, when Bhishma Dev had actually brought Ambalika, and Ambika. So out of that, Amba says that I already love somebody. So please leave me. And Bhishma Dev leaves her. And when she goes back to her lover, he says, since you've been touched by Bhishma, I don't accept you. Similarly, when Lord Krishna killed Narkasur, he had captivated almost 16,000 queens. But what did they say? Since we've been held captive by this this Bhaumasura, Narkasura, nobody will accept us. So please, you marry us. So this was actually a Vedic civilization. So a Vedic civilization is so like there is so much of uh, purity in that even if a lady is away from a house for one night, so then the entire society considers her impure. So this is the kind of civilization we had, and if you compare it to today's modern civilization, where the women are allowed for free mixing in the name of equality, it is totally wrong. So, uh, so that's the reason women have always need to be protected, uh, because of the modern Western influence in even in countries like India, which was where the women were actually were not, or are still worshipped. Even Prabhupada in our society, uh, there was a what do you call, suggestion, why Mataji, why not Behenji? So Prabhupada said, uh, uh, because when you call women mother, Mataji means mother, then definitely your consciousness changes and you start worshipping her. You start dealing her the way you deal with your mother, right? So that is the most important. Even we have a acharya who by mistake, without seeing, called his wife Mataji, and the moment he called her mother, and immediately from that moment onwards, he started dealing with her as a mother, because that is a consciousness. It is not just a lip service. It is not that we have to address a woman by one adjective. That's the reason we call Mataji. No, when we say Mataji, we actually mean, right? That's the reason it's very important that that Prabhujis who are married, they should never call their wife as Mataji. Many a time they say, no, my Mataji. No, you have to call her by name, because if she's your wife, you cannot call her Mataji and have a relationship like a wife. So it's very, very important. Sometimes it is not done purposely, but it is all about consciousness. So a husband should always address, uh, like our Prabhuji should always call their better half by their name, never call them Mataji, because you're calling her Mataji, you're calling her mother, and then you have to then your relationship has to be like mother, like our acharya. They show by their example. By mistake, without turning back, he said Mata to his wife. So immediately he said, no, I've called you now as mother. So from now onwards, I cannot treat you like my wife. So that is the high level of consciousness. So when we call somebody Mataji, it is not just a lip service. We have to understand this very much. So when we call somebody mother, we have to. There is a young Prabhujis in our society who desire to get married, right? Who desire to get married among a youth. You can until you have decided whom you want to marry, it is okay to call them by their names, because if you call everybody Mataji, then definitely tomorrow you like somebody within your congregation, then it's all about consciousness. Try to understand. You've been calling Mataji, and now, and suddenly you feel, okay, I want to get married to this woman, this girl. So, but if you have been calling her Mataji, then it makes no sense. How can you been calling Mataji throughout and now suddenly think of marrying? So these are all certain subtle points we have to understand. Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, the name is what? Krishna consciousness. So we have to be conscious of what we are doing. It is not just we are on what do you call artificially, or what do you call, just doing things because we have to do. We are just calling somebody Mataji because that is the what do you call, etiquette. All such things we have to understand. But the modern civilization, because lack of spiritual knowledge, and because they're not interested, they're just living like animals, right? They're just living like animals. Once one Prabhuji was jokingly saying, we see this board outside a lot of houses, right? Beware of dogs. You must also have seen, be aware of dogs. And Prabhuji was saying only thing they have forgot to mention, whether beware of which dog, two leg dog or four-leg dog. The point is that we are also, even though we have got this human form of life, because we are just interested in ahar, nidra, bhai, and maitun, we are just nothing but four two-legged animals. So because of this, there's so much of uh, exploitation of women. So Prabhupada talks here about this women exploitation. That's the reason this from very young we have to teach our children brahmacharya. Okay, so the due knowledge of brahmacharya, because otherwise what happens when they turn when they grow up, due to this modern influence, they also become human hunters. Prabhupada says nowadays so much of unwanted material is available on social media. Everybody uses mobile and easily available. So watching all this unwanted nonsense. So what happens for them? The attraction to the opposite sex, okay, becomes very, very strong, and for them trying to enjoy their senses, uncontrolled senses, lot of things what do you call, they get into unwanted things. And nowadays, all this promotion of live-in relationships without getting married, people feel it is very, very nice. India is still a country, I mean, which is still once Patri Prabhu, you must be knowing His Grace Patri Prabhu saying, if you see in Western countries, almost the divorce rate is almost 90%. Imagine. And in India, it's still better. He was saying in India, it is hardly 4 to 5%. And it's catching up, but it's really catching up. Uh, uh, so, because lack of spiritual understanding. And here we can, Prabhupada is very clearly writing, when we cause harm to the other living entities, killing of animals, slaughterhouses, the reaction will definitely come to us. It will really come back to us. So all this, Prabhupada writes, all these wars where people get killed in such large numbers is nothing but a reaction of all this animal killing. So when we kill animals for our satisfaction in such a way, then what happens? We human beings, the reaction to us is all these famine, floods, earthquakes. Uh, uh, Recently, you must have seen even during this all big huge rains, there were floods, lot of lives lost, and then ultimate is war. All this war, pestilence. In this, what happens? Wholesale, we get killed. The human beings get killed, and this is nothing but the reaction of animal killing. And among that, cow killing is the worst. So as spiritual life, spiritualist practicing, it is very, very important that we take this message to maximum souls, so they can also be delivered. And here Prabhupada writes about that the Vaishnavas, being paradukha dukhi and full of compassion, they try to revive maximum souls to this path of Krishna consciousness. Okay, and that is the only solution. uh, that is the only solution. And as Kali Yuga goes, proceeds, will progress, it will become even more worse. So all of us who are luckily in this path of Krishna consciousness should take advantage to make our life very, very pure. Purity is the most important thing. Which just taking to Krishna consciousness and just following it just for the sake of following also will not help. We have to make sure that we seriously try to purify ourselves to the most maximum possible, and not only us, and we should try to engage other peoples also. So this entire movement, this preaching movement, is meant for that. Okay, so I would like to stop here. If any questions, or if anybody wants to add some point which I missed, well, can please. So basically, if you see, it is all about following the four regulative principle properly, uh, which will actually help us. Otherwise, uh, we'll just keep accumulating our karmas, and in this miserable world, we will just continue our existence. Hare Krishna. Dhanot Pranam. Thank you so much once again. Shila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was very enlightening. Yeah, was engaged with so many short stories, and especially that story about the king who gave prasada, and poison was included in that, and Yamaraj didn't know whom to give that karma, and it went to a lady who just made a small sentence saying that the king, in the guise of giving prasada, gives poison. It was very touching, Prabhuji. So how much prajalpa can add to a karma? That is very, I like that point very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, if you have any questions, Prabhuji can take it. You can please unmute your mic and ask, or you can type in the chat box. Hare Krishna.
Thank you once again for giving this opportunity. I know all of you are very, very advanced devotees, and wonderful every day morning listening to Bhagavatam. So please pray for me also, that I can, the way you all are sincerely practicing this path, I too follow in your footsteps.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, we are just practicing devotees, Prabhuji. We are not advanced at all. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Aditya Prabhuji, you want to ask some question? Hare Krishna. Any devotee has any question, they can please unmute and ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. प्रभु
हरे
जी, ये
कृष्ण।
हमने देखा भी था जब कोरोना जब फैल रहा था, तो गोवर्धन
हाँ,
गिरिराज में और वृंदावन में, इन सब में कोरोना का कोई प्रभाव नहीं था। वे लोग बिना मास्क के आराम से अपना जीवन निकाल रहे थे। तो आज जो प्रभुपाद ने जो वर्णन किया है, उससे ये बात तो बिल्कुल ही सिद्ध होती है कि जहां जहां गौ हत्या नहीं होती है, जहां जानवरों जंतुओं का पालन होता है, जहां भगवान की भक्ति होती है, वहां पर कोई भी दुर्भिक्ष या इस प्रकार की कोई चीजें नहीं होती है।
सही
हरे
100% प्रभु, 100% सही कहा आपने, सही में। और जहाँ पे गौ माता का बहुत रक्षा पालन होता है, वो मतलब बहुत ही सुखी रहते हैं वो लोग, जो आपने कहा सही कहा। तो एक्चुअली ये एटलीस्ट गौ माता का तो रक्षा बहुत अच्छी तरह से करना चाहिए, भगवान को इतने प्रिय है। हम देख सकते हैं वृंदावन लीला में जब यशोदा माई कहती है, मतलब ऐसा वर्णन आता है कि वो जब भगवान कहते हैं कि मैं चप्पल नहीं पहनूंगा, क्योंकि गायों को अगर आप चप्पल नहीं पहनाओगे तो मैं नहीं, तो यशोदा माई क्या कहते हैं, हम जानवरों को चप्पल नहीं पहनाते। तो जब भगवान वो जानवर का शब्द सुनते हैं यशोदा माई के मुंह से ना, इतना रोने लगते हैं, इतना रोने लगते हैं कि आपने गौ माता को जानवर कैसे कहा। और फिर यशोदा माई सही में भगवान के सामने अपने कान पकड़ के माफी मांगती है, मैं आज से कभी इनको जानवर नहीं कहूंगी। तो इतना प्यार करते हैं भगवान गौ माता से। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Pranam.
Next
Prabhu, you
one.
said we should not do Prajalpa, but in this Kali Yuga, it is very impossible. So, can you give us some tips like how we can avoid that?
Yes, Mataji. Like at least as devotees, we know we have so much of Krishna Katha. Lord says, no, Machita Madgada Prana, Bodhayante Parasparam. So instead of talking about any other devotees or anything, we can actually, when we meet with devotees with each other, we can actually discuss what are the shortcomings in our bhakti, how our mind, how we are not able to chant attentively, or how we are not getting ruchi. So if we discuss such things and take help, so easily our time will pass, instead of discussing about some other devotees, why I don't like him, or why I don't like this Prabhuji or that Mataji. Because of our what you call strong ego, many a times when we go for programs, our mind is totally looking for some attention, some name, fame, and when we don't get that and we see some other devotees getting, we feel I do so much seva, but I don't get the attention and the other devotees are getting. So we start discussing all this, and we try to find faults in devotees, and that is how all the prajalpa starts. But instead of focusing on, I mean, it should not be, it's not a point to be focused at all. Instead of that, if we just, whenever we meet some devotees and we can discuss that how I can improve my chanting or my book reading, or why I'm not getting the taste. If we start discussing on these such points, unknowingly it will become Krishna Katha also, and we can get such good suggestion that will help us in our bhakti. Otherwise, being devotees, if we do prajalpa, then it is very, very harmful. But at least the outside people, they do not know about all this. So they think it is normal talking about somebody else, and they think it is normal. But for us, at least, we should try to avoid. And what is prajalpa? Basically, two devotees coming together and talking about a third person. Okay, so as devotee, we should avoid this. There's so many topics to talk about the katha, and most importantly, like since we all say we are sadhakas, conditioned, and our devotional service is not at that level, we can at least spend our time in taking guidance, sharing our hearts about our own shortcomings. So what will happen? It will help us also. It will become very fruitful discussion, and sometimes the other devotees can give us share some points what he or she is doing in her spiritual life, which is helping. So what will happen? We will have no time to think about anybody else. And when we actually do our sadhana properly, we become so happy that that ego, envy, all this anartha slowly subside, because we are not doing our sadhana properly. And one thing is, you're not doing our sadhana properly, not following the properly, that anarthas are growing. Instead of bhakti lata beach growing, the weeds around that are growing more. And when they grow more, we take more enjoyment in discussing all unwanted things about some other devotees, what are his shortcomings, and all these things. So this is the best suggestion is we should maximum time. You can even discuss like which lecture you heard recently, what points you liked in that. Okay. And main thing is, since we all agree that our sadhana is not good or chanting is still not so good, we can spend time actually in discussing these things. So that way the time is also spent nicely. We get nice feedback, guidance, and that will help us in our bhakti life. And we also will feel bad. Okay, today I spoke only about Krishna. I did not speak about any. I did not do any prajalpa. I did not. And what happens? It saves us from Vaishnava aparad also, because Vaishnava aparad is the main thing. What happens? Which it's like a speed breaker to our bhakti. And Krishna doesn't like it at all. If you're not doing a sadhana properly due to any conditioning, Krishna is still ready to forgive. But when Krishna sees that devotees are coming together and blaspheming some other devotees or finding faults and all, Krishna really feels heartbroken. Because as a parent, when a parent sees that her children's that like they say two brothers, two sisters, when the parents see that they're very nicely cooperating with each other, helping each other, parents are very happy. All their four children may not be expert or not very studious anything, but when they see they love each other, they help each other, the parents are very happy. So similarly, Krishna, when he sees the devotee community helping each other, loving each other, there is no fault finding, no envy towards each other, that actually makes Krishna more happy. Rather than you may do big sevas, but at the end of the time you want recognition, you want to compete with another devotee that I do better than you. So then Krishna, no matter how nice seva we do, and Krishna doesn't take interest, because there is no love among each other, no cooperation, no what you call affection for each other. Then Krishna will that seva here, because for Krishna, whatever we do, Krishna is perfect. So we cannot do anything that can impress Krishna. The only thing that will impress Krishna is the loving bond between devotees. That actually impresses Krishna. So when Krishna says, wow, this community is so, they love each other so much, such nice bonding that nobody talks anything about each other. And whenever there's some fault, they help. Instead of finding fault and criticizing, they help for him to grow or her to grow. So Krishna actually loves this. This is the only solution, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have one more doubt. Like with devotees, we can discuss Krishna Katha, but what about other people, like outside people?
Yeah, outside Mataji, see, one thing I've noticed, once you start wearing tilak, kanti, and when you don't have anything outside, people outside automatically start respecting you for what you are. So with such people, if they're not interested in Krishna Katha, at least what we can normally talk to them. So we, as much as possible, we give our association, but do not take their association. Like the kabaddi, we know no kabaddi how it is played. You have to keep saying kabaddi, kabaddi, and go in the other camp and touch. And as you, but you have to keep saying kabaddi, because the moment you stop, then you are out of the game. So similarly, it is like the same devotee going outside world. So we have to keep remembering Krishna. If possible, talk to them or give them Krishna. If not possible, just keep remembering, and we don't take the association. We give our association if possible. Otherwise, we do not take their association, in the sense we don't what do you call not taking the association means not trying to learn anything from them, because materialistic people, they are learning or their likings are totally which is nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. So we stay with them, we pray for them. If we get a chance to talk about Krishna, because many a time they also ask us why you don't eat this, what. So there we get an opportunity to tell them the philosophy or why we do what we do. So in that way, we are giving them some knowledge about Krishna consciousness. That is the best thing. And when we are with them, just keep remembering Krishna, and if possible, preach to them to whatever extent they can accept. And that is not possible, we do not take their association, but we are there with them, because we are part of the society. We cannot neglect anybody. When we go to work, we have to be with our colleagues. So, but what happens when they start respecting you, somehow or other, they get the grace of the Lord, because many a times people respect, this person has decided not to eat and he really follows everything properly. So there's a kind of respect. So with that, when they deal with you with that respect and all, Krishna's grace falls on them because they are respecting a devotee. In that way, you're actually helping them, maybe not this life, next life, because of all this nice dealing with a devotee. Krishna will help them to get bhakti maybe in the next life. Yeah, but we should not at the same time never think that now I'm a devotee and these people are not following, so they are down. No, because once upon a time, due to Prabhupada's mercy, we are in this devotion. Otherwise, we were also like them only. So that is one thing a devotee should never look down upon any soul, because we never know when they will take to Krishna consciousness, what Krishna's plans are for them. So if somebody is like the way they talk, they look like atheist, or so still we should not look down upon any person, because after all he is also part and parcel of Krishna, and one fine day we never know what are Krishna's plan for him. So this is one thing we should never do. I think I'm now great because I'm Vaishnava, I'm following the 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, I know Bhagavatam, I know who Krishna is. Sometimes that gives us pride. So that we should never do with even non-devotees. We should always pray for them. Hope he also becomes a devotee one fine day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. All goes to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Anu Mataji, you have a question?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। जी माता, मैं प्रभु जी लीव कर दिया। no
Hare
हरे कृष्ण
Hare
प्रभु
Krishna.
जी। प्रणाम
Hare Krishna. Done for now.
प्रभु जी। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर सच वंडरफुल क्लास। प्रभु जी, आपने जो एग्जांपल दिया आज की क्लास में, वो काफी ज्यादा मतलब उसको सुनने के बाद बहुत ज्यादा डर भी लग रहा है। जैसे आपने बताया कि चोरी करने पे ये होता है, मतलब ये पनिशमेंट हम लोग को देनी चाहिए। तो और जो प्रजल्पा का था, जो दूसरे का कार्मिक रिएक्शन हमारे ऊपर आ जाता है, तो पहले से बहुत ही ज्यादा कार्मिक रिएक्शन अपना है ही, और हम लोग प्रजल्पा करके ले चुके हैं ऑलरेडी। तो प्रभु जी, जो ले चुके हैं उसके लिए अब क्या करें? कहते हैं चैंटिंग करने, तो चैंटिंग तो होता नहीं है अच्छे से प्रभु जी, तो कैसे इससे अब कैसे निकले?
माता जी, एक्चुअली भक्त जो है कि आप जानते हैं कि मतलब हम लोग भी अभी तक भक्त बने नहीं है। जैसे प्रभुपाद कहते थे कि हम भक्त बनने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। इसकी वजह से ये सारे जो अनर्थ की वजह से न चाहते हुए भी हम जानते हैं कि गलत है, भक्त का अपराध नहीं करना चाहिए किसी और के बारे में, फिर भी हम लोग तो लेकिन भक्त को कभी डरना नहीं चाहिए। भगवान से हमेशा माफी मांगना चाहिए कि भगवान आज मेरा पूरा दिन में मुझे ये नहीं करना था, ये सब नहीं करना था, फिर भी हो रहा है। भगवान भी समझते हैं। तो क्या होता है भक्त के लिए ना, भगवान का एक अलग ये सारे जो वो कहते हैं लॉ ऑफ मर्सी एंड लॉ ऑफ कर्मा। तो भक्त जो है ना लॉ ऑफ मर्सी के अंडर आता है। तो जैसे हम लोग प्रभुपाद के शरणागति, प्रभुपाद के शिष्यों के शरणागति आते हैं ना, तो भक्त क्या भगवान मायादेव को कहता है, इसके भी जो भी कर्मा है ना उसको मैं संभालूंगा, तो इसके बारे में आप चिंता मत कीजिए। तो हम जो भी अभी कर रहे हैं कर्मा, अभी हाँ ऐसा नहीं कि अभी हम भक्त, हमारा भगवान हमारा देख रहे इसलिए हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये न चाहते हुए भी जैसे कहते हैं ना अइच्छन, मतलब हम लोगों को सही में बुरा लग रहा है। शाम को हमको लगता है अरे मैंने क्यों इस भक्त के बारे में ऐसे कहा, हमको अंदर से पश्चाताप होता है। लेकिन क्योंकि हम अभी भी बद्ध अवस्था में है, न चाहते हुए भी हम लोग कभी कभी प्रजल्पा करते हैं, भक्तों का मतलब बुराई करते हैं। लेकिन क्योंकि हम लॉ ऑफ मर्सी में आते हैं, भगवान खुद इसको ये हमारे कर्मों का जो भी हिसाब किताब है भगवान करने वाले हैं। हमको कहीं ना कहीं भगवान उससे तार देंगे। जैसे कि एक पुलिस जब एक अपराधी को पकड़ता है ना, तो ऐसा उसका पिटाई होती है कि आप सोच भी नहीं सकते। लेकिन वही जब माता पिता अपने बच्चों को कुछ गलत करते पकड़ते हैं, वो भी मारेंगे थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि सुधारना है ना इसकी वजह। लेकिन बहुत फर्क है जब पुलिस का पिटाई और माँ बाप की पिटाई में। तो उस तरह से भगवान हमारे कर्मा को टेक केयर करेंगे, बिकॉज वी नाउ कम अंडर द लॉ ऑफ मर्सी, वी डोंट कम अंडर लॉ ऑफ कर्मा। लॉ ऑफ कर्मा मतलब माया देवी, तो जितना है आपका उतना मिलेगा और उससे ज्यादा मिलेगा। लेकिन लॉ ऑफ मर्सी यानी अभी भगवान हमारे जो परम पिता, वो तो वो हमको देंगे थोड़ा बहुत पिटाई, लेकिन क्योंकि पिता है, हमारा सुधार भी होगा और वो पिटाई में प्रेम भी होगा। सो भक्तों को डरने का जरूरत नहीं, बट एट द सेम टाइम हमको ये जितना हो सके भगवान को खाली हाँ, मतलब जितना हो सके उनका काम कम करना है। नहीं तो भगवान को ये लॉ ऑफ मर्सी के अंडर हमको सुधारने का जितना हो सके कम उनको काम देना चाहिए। सो वी हैव टू बिकम वेरी कॉन्शियस कि मैं जितना हो सके केवल और केवल भक्तों की सेवा करूंगा, भगवान की सेवा करूंगा और किसी में बुराई नहीं देखूंगा। हाँ, अगर कहीं पे जहाँ पे थोड़ा करेक्शन चाहिए, जहाँ पे उस डिवोटी का भक्ति में पतन ना हो, ही डजंट फॉल डाउन, उसके लिए तो वहां पे हमको वी हैव टू करेक्ट जहाँ पे, क्योंकि नहीं तो वो भक्ति से अगर निकल जाएगा कुछ ऐसे कार्य करके, देयर वी हैव टू डू करेक्शन। ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ एकदम गलत कर रहा है वो भक्ति से निकल जाएगा तो हम बोलते हैं नहीं नहीं अपराध नहीं, दैट इज नॉट, देन इट इज रॉन्ग थिंग फ्रॉम आवर साइड। जहां जहां करेक्शन चाहिए, जहां पे उसको उसकी भक्ति में मदद होगी, वहां पे हमको, लेकिन कैसे करना है, इस तरह से करना है कि भक्त को भी बुरा ना लगे एंड ही डजंट फील बैड। एंड कभी कभी क्या होता है, भक्त लोग अपना जो शॉर्टकमिंग क्यों छिपाते हैं, क्योंकि फिर उनको लगता है अगर मैं बता दूंगा तो फिर मेरा पता नहीं ये लोग क्या सोचेंगे मेरे बारे में, तो ये एक डर होता है। बट वी शुड बी मतलब उनको इतना कॉन्फिडेंस देना है कि आप कोई टेंशन नहीं लो, आप बताओ आपके अंदर क्या मतलब कमियां है, आप कहाँ पे आपको प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, मैं आपको गाइड करूंगा या गाइड करूंगी। और किसी को, और दैट इज अनदर थिंग, इट शुड ऑलवेज बी कॉन्फिडेंशियल। गुह्यम आख्याति पृच्छति, मतलब उसको कॉन्फिडेंट होना चाहिए कि मगर अगर मैं इस भक्त को मैं बताऊंगा मेरे अंदर क्या कमी है, ये माता जी या प्रभु जी सही में मुझे हेल्प भी करेंगे और किसी को नहीं बताएंगे। तो ऐसा एक कॉन्फिडेंस हमको भक्त को देना चाहिए। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी आप अपना एसोसिएशन देते रहिएगा। हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू सो मच।
ऑल ग्लोरीज टू प्रभुपाद। ये सारे हमारे आचार्य और मतलब वरिष्ठ भक्तों से जो सुनाए वही रिपीट करने की प्रयास कर रहा हूँ माता जी। आप सब लोगों का धन्यवाद।
एंड गिव अस योर ब्लेसिंग्स प्रभु जी। आप अपना आशीर्वाद भी हम लोग को दीजिएगा प्लीज। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your association and time, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Any other devotee has any questions, or otherwise we'll conclude session. It is 9 now. Prabhuji will also have other sevas.
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
श्री वैष्णव नमो नमः।
नमः।
श्री श्री राधा कुंज बिहारी भगवान की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताई की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। I request every devotee to please unmute your mic and recite Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
हरे
Hare
कृष्णा
Krishna,
कृष्णा
Krishna
कृष्णा
Krishna,
हरे
Hare
हरे,
Hare,
हरे राम
Hare Rama,
राम राम
Rama
हरे
Rama,
हरे।
Hare
हरे
Hare.
हरे।
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Now,
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We'll end with our closing invocation prayers. Hare Krishna. एकं सहस्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्मापि एकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या च द्रविणाम त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाथाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। वासुदेवासुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कात्यायनी महामाये महायोगिनी आदिश्वरी नन्दगोपसुतं देवी पतिं मे कुरुते नमः। श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम दासोऽहं कृष्ण त्वम् अस्मि। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो श्रीवैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji, once again. And with pronounce Hare Krishna. Thank you, all devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.